grateful to be joined here today with Brent Tallman.
You know, you're buying a home, it's the largest investment that people usually make. So it's deeply personal. And I always tell people, I will care more about your mortgage than you do. Okay, we're talking about communication. Where in life do we need to communicate? Like, hey, you need to talk to your parents, you need to talk to your siblings, your teachers. When you're helping people grow, you're meeting them in whatever crisis is and whatever they're going through in life, right? Like one of my first questions I ask people, even before I take an application or anything, is why is it important for you to own a home? It's tough enough to get deals in, right?
Yeah.
And you're not always getting the cleanest, easiest deals, right? I think I did 5 million my first year, and then the next year I think we went up to 12. The bottom line is word and sales. I don't ever consider myself a salesperson.
Yeah.
But that's literally what we are, right?
Welcome to another episode of the Made to Be Great podcast. I am grateful to be joined here today with Brent Tallman. So welcome to the show, Brent.
Well, I appreciate you having me, Josh. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's get right into it.
Why not?
Let's talk about what brought you into this business. I'm guessing it was not your high school guidance counselor, as we often joke in the industry.
Yeah,
So
that's a good question, because when I was in high school, I probably did not even know about mortgages at all.
Yeah.
So I actually got in the business through another mortgage professional. I was selling homes for a small custom home builder up in Lake County,
Okay.
and made friends with a guy named Alan Davis. And we just started talking, and I was like, hey, how do I do what you're doing? And so he said, on your days off, come and shadow me, because my days off were like Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
So that's literally how I got in business.
Interesting. Do
Yep.
you still keep in touch with this person?
He actually ended up passing away like a year or so after I met him.
No kidding.
Yeah. And he, in my first 10, 12 years, he was the only person that ever coached me. And he had two things I learned that I still use to this day. One was, he said, always do follow purchase business. He goes, refis are bonuses. He goes, because refis come and go. He
Smart.
goes, so always stick to purchases. And the other thing is whatever you do, don't be desperate, because nobody ever wants to work with a desperate loan officer. So that was my two coaching tip.
Both timeless advice, I think, in the business. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Because we can't control when we get a refi boom, and when we don't, it's totally out of our control.
Yeah.
But the purchase thing is always there.
100%. People got to live somewhere. Everybody's paying a mortgage. It
Yeah.
just may not be their mortgage.
Might be their landlords,
100%.
right?
Absolutely.
Very cool. Thinking back to those first days as a loan officer when you got into the business, how are things different now for you?
Well, that was a completely different time.
Yeah.
That was before loan estimates. We had good faith estimates.
Yeah.
I literally had to go to people's house. I would pre-package FHA, VAs, conventional loans, and USDAs, and I had all my folders in my desk, and I would take them to people's house, and they would sign it, and they'd get what do you call that? On the good faith estimate, you'd rip off it, and they'd have a copy underneath.
I like the carbon copy.
Yeah, the carbon copies. Yeah. Also, well, obviously the technology and stuff. I mean, we had a computer in the back that was the credit machine. So you'd go back there and input your information, and 3 or 4 hours later, you'd get a credit report. That was much better than they used to fax it. And then you'd wait a day or two, and then you'd get a fax back.
That has come quite a way.
Yes.
Over the course of time, huh?
Yeah, very much. It's amazing, because we used to handle paper. Now there's hardly any paper. So, yeah, completely different. And then with all the electronic signings, and I don't meet a whole lot of people face to face. I mean, I try to meet all my clients over a Zoom or Teams video thing, because I still think it's, you're buying a home. It's the largest investment that people usually make. So it's deeply personal, and I always tell people, I don't want you to think I'm some kind of AI, and I will care more about your mortgage than you do. And so I love to try to, meet people face to face as much as I can, just over video now.
Yeah. Which is cool, because, it helps facilitate the face to face a little easier than maybe it would if you had to schlep across town and,
Yes.
for people if they have kids and they don't have to worry about babysitter. That's been a cool introduction into our world.
Yes, absolutely. Right? Yeah. The video calls. I think that's what COVID really made that thing come to life.
Yeah.
So
that it did.
Yes.
So take us back a little bit to when you said you got in the business. You have also been married for quite some time.
I have been. As of today, I'm still married.
Yes. It's a beautiful thing.
Some days like, but yeah, no. This is. Am I going to make it? Make the cut today.
Hopefully, you make the cut every day. Were you already married to Emily when you got in the business, or did you get in the business after you were married?
No, I was already married before I even got in the business. Yeah.
Okay. So did you have a whole different career before that?
Yeah, my whole when I finished college, we moved out to Arizona. We were there for about a year, and then we came to Florida. And really, the only thing I knew how to do was irrigation, residential irrigation sprinklers.
Okay.
So Yellow Pages, went and got a job and did that, and then had a little bit of background in sales. And so my great uncle owned a home builder company, and so he said, "Hey, you want to get into sales?" And so that's how I got into sales, and that's where I met Alan, and then got into the mortgage business.
Did you like selling compared to, or were you just like trying different things, or how did you?
Well, all I knew is I didn't want to dig ditches anymore. So, especially when it was 90, 100 degrees in August. And so matter of fact, I bet you I still have my my irrigation uniform shirt. I kept it. I was like, I don't want to dig ditches anymore. Let me keep that as a reminder.
Good inspiration on a day where you're like not wanting to make calls to be like,
Yeah, and you're kind of those physical jobs, you're kind of limited a little bit on, like this
longevity wise.
Yeah.
You could have injuries that could be difficult.
100%. This year, as long as you have a brain, which some people would probably argue whether I have one or not, but that would be a discussion for another podcast.
We'll have to have you back.
Yes, you'll have to have me back. So, but honestly, you could keep in this business. You could, keep going as long as you're staying relevant, right?
We have a guy at Fairway nicknamed Pistol Pete.
Yeah, I love Pistol.
Do you know how old Pistol is?
He is. I've met him a couple times. He's 90.
92?
92. Yeah, he's in the 90s. I know that. Is he 92?
You're not joking. For the listeners, you could literally do this. I mean, he's on almost every call.
The crazy thing about him is he's always learning.
Yeah.
That's the amazing thing to me. I'm like, I always tell people, I'm hoping by the time I die, I would have figured life out. But yeah, Pistol's quite the inspiration.
Yeah, he is. To have the humility to say, I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
At his career tenure and age is really a good lesson for a lot of people too.
100%. Yeah, he could probably run circles around me anyways.
I hope and pray I have that energy and that enthusiasm when I'm 92.
There you go. Absolutely.
So, okay, very cool. So you have irrigation background, you get into sales, you start doing mortgages. Where does it go from there? How does your career develop? Do you hit any adversity? How does that go?
I think you always hit, that's life, right? Life is, I think the Bible's pretty clear. In Psalms, you have 70, 90, 70 years old, and most of them are filled with pain. So I think there's always adversity, and I think that's how you grow, honestly, is through adversity. The mortgage business was really good to me all the way through. And then, of course, I started in 97 and then went all the way through till beginning of 2009.
Okay.
So I went through, I think, 7, the housing market started
at the end of 7.
Yeah.
So 2007 and 2008, it really got exciting.
Yeah. So there was, that was definitely a very difficult time. And the funniest thing was when that housing really started to tank, I was actually thinking about doing something totally different anyways. And then, so part of me, I look back at that and part of me says, well, one, did I leave because it was hard? That's probably part of it. Part of it, I felt like I was on a totally different calling. So because I went to Egypt in 2008 and coached baseball in a kids camp out in the middle of the desert. And it kind of got my whole thinking changing. So
I would love to hear more about that. Let's not like glaze over that. So how did you get to Egypt, and how did you get to coaching baseball?
Yeah, I ended up coaching at a sports camp. Yeah.
Okay.
I was not a baseball coach per se. No, so I had 3 kids, or 3 boys, 4, but my 3 boys, I'd signed them up for NFL flag football. And my oldest son was on a team. My 2 youngest boys were on the same team, but no coach. So I made a mistake of emailing and said, "Hey, where's the coach?" They're like, "We don't have a coach. You can be the coach." And I was like, "Well, I know nothing about football. I like football." So I was like, "Sure, why not?" And I think this was like maybe Google was probably just starting. Like, you're Googling, like, how do you coach flag football? Like, probably nothing came up.
Wow.
So I ended up coaching these boys for, I think I did that for like three or 4 years. And one thing
this was from what years to what?
This was 2006 to about 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But what happened in that and this was, I think the iPhone came about like 2007.
Sounds right.
Yeah, but they had like Game Boys and the video game craze, and just electronics, and the internet was really just starting to really start to take off. So it was pretty clear to me, though, that kids were getting stuck on these electronic games and different things, and you started to see some life skills start to deteriorate. So just when coaching that, I was like, man, I told Emily, I was like, I think it would be cool if we had a camp where we could get kids away from electronics, teach them life skills. So I was already doing, like, I had 2 practices a week. So one week we would talk about communication. So the first practice we would talk about, hey, where on the football field do we communicate? Like, how do we have to communicate to each other and make sure we're all on the same page? And then the next practice I would talk about, okay, we're talking about communication. Where in life do we need to communicate? Like, hey, you need to talk to your parents, you need to talk to your siblings, your teachers, like, and so I started to do that, and I saw this need for that. So I mentioned it to a guy at church. I said, hey, I'm thinking about, I'd love to do a camp. And he goes, have you been to Egypt? No, I've been to Egypt. He goes, they have exactly what you're looking for in Egypt. So that was May of 2008, and in August I was in Egypt. So
wow. So how was life in Egypt when you were there? Like, were you in an area with a lot of Americans, or were you like in the local culture? Like, how did that go?
Yeah, we were in a sports camp out in the middle of the desert north of Cairo. So all the coaches and everything came from different churches and things there. So, but all the campers were all Egyptian.
So was this like a ministry type of thing?
Yeah, it was. That camp is owned by a church or run by a church. Over out of it's actually the largest evangelical church in the Middle East, actually. And I ended up going to Egypt like 9 times, I think, over the next 4 years.
Have you been back recently? Or?
I have not been back since 2012, I want to say, or 13, 12 or 13. It's been a while since I've been back.
Are there things from that season and that experience that you feel changed or grew you as a parent, a professional, a leader? Like, I'm just imagining like adversity and challenges and resilience that you would have to build being in a different country, doing a different job. How did that go for you?
Well, I think just learning from a different culture and being part of that was huge. And the longest time I was there was like 45 days, one time. But I went to a school over there called Middle East Sports Leadership School. So I was there for a month. That's after I'd gotten out of the mortgage business. And that was summer of 2009. So that actually kind of did, because we were already thinking about doing these camps. So I knew I needed to get in the ministry space. So I came back and did that. Excuse me.
Duty calls.
No, it's my alarm.
Yeah.
That's Coach Carey.
Ah, okay.
Coach Carey alarm. I'll have to tell you about that.
We can get to that actually in the podcast.
So, so then I actually came back and ended up working with men and women getting out of jail and jail. And so developed a 16-week Bible-based whole life program with that. And so that was in 2009. I did that till 2012. Then I got involved with a church in Lake Mary, and I started Max Life in 2013, and we did that all the way through 2019. So we did like summer camps, after school programs, and things like that.
Is that part of Max Life for people watching who may not know what that is? What is Max Life? And is that part of the group that you were?
Yeah, so I started. Max Life was just the name of the program that we came up with through St. Peter's Church.
Okay.
So I started that, and there actually, what was really cool about that was a lot of things I learned through Egypt. I did a lot of middle school and high school youth leadership development through that. So we ended up hiring, like our summer camps were really busy, and I ended up having every year I would have a high school or college leadership team. So I'd start with them in May, so we'd be together like 3 or 4 weeks, and I'd get them all trained for the summer camps, and we'd have like 13.
So those would be like your leaders.
They were my leaders.
You were coaching the leaders, which were college students.
We were college students.
They would run the program with you.
Yeah, they would run the programs. They each had a defined role.
Okay.
And then we would have high schoolers. A lot of them would be like the group counselors and that. Yeah, it was really cool.
Sounds cool. So how long did you do this for?
All the way till end of August of 2019. So it was about 7 years.
Pretty cool.
So yeah, it was really cool.
So thinking back to that time, what are some of the fondest like memories that you have of that? Because that's a totally different type of work than what you're doing today.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely a different, maybe I was dealing with more different people. But I think just watching people grow, and one of the best things, like every week we would do a different camp, and it would be Monday morning. It would be 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would have, kid you not, 40, 50 high school, middle school kids there like getting ready for the camp, like at 5 in the morning on a Monday. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So and that to me was the biggest takeaway, was watching. We gave them a lot of ability to grow and learn and lead themselves, and so that became really the leadership development among the youth was probably one of the bigger takeaways. So
that's similar to what you're doing now. In what way? Developing?
Well, I think in when you're dealing with kids and parents, and when you're helping people grow, you're meeting them in whatever crisis is and whatever they're going through in life, right? So, and I think in the home buying process, it's highly emotional. It's huge and decision and huge investments, and you're having an opportunity to really help people lay a solid, financial footing, not just for themselves, but for their whole family. And so I think just being able to like guide people through that, and they, in the whole 30-day process, you deal with so many emotions and things going on, and so I think all of that stuff to me, it's not just about the transaction. You're dealing with life, and it's a great opportunity to be able to be a part of people's lives through that. So.
You get to lead then through the different ups and downs and emotions that happen during that start to finish process. So that's the through line, like the similarity that you would say between.
Yeah. And I always ask, I get to hear their stories, right? Like one of my first questions I ask people, even before I take an application or anything, is why is it important for you to own a home? And you'll hear stories like, I got a lady right now. She is in her 50s, first one in her family to even try to buy a home.
Wow.
So you get to hear some of these stories, so, and then you can kind of see, where they want to get to. So yeah, it's just life. And I think, the home is a huge part of that.
That it is.
And I tell people, I think we find out more about people, except for maybe their therapist. Like if they had a counselor, their counselor may know more, but you start digging in with their finances and things like that. You find out a lot. Their credit.
There can be a lot of stories there.
There's a lot of stories there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I hear stories, I'm like, I really didn't need to hear that story, but that's all right. We'll roll with it.
We get it, though. We get the story, don't we? That's pretty neat. So, okay, so that was through 2019, and then now walk us through 2019 to present day.
So I ended up all of 2020. So I had a good friend, Dan, was a real estate agent, a real estate broker. He kept telling me, "Hey, you need to get back in the mortgage business." And I was like, because one thing I know about the mortgage business is like it's not an off switch. So it was kind of like my hesitancy was like, oh man, that's like you're always like grinding it. So that was one of my challenges. But so 2020, I think I did like I was a mobile notary. I don't know what I did. And 80 different like closings. That was the COVID year. So we had weird stuff.
It's a lot of closings.
It was a lot of closings, yeah. And so I got very familiar with the new updated stuff because I was looking at the closing disclosures.
Changed. Layout and what was on there would change it a little bit.
Yeah. So I got very familiar with that, and I was like, and I felt like I was kind of like maxed out with like 480 closings. What could I do? Maybe 500.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was like, all right, let me explore the mortgage world again. January of 21, I took the class, took the test immediately because if I don't, I wouldn't remember it, and I probably couldn't tell you what was on that test now. But I remember, it's so funny that lady's like, somebody studied. I was like, no, I didn't study. I was like, I need to take this right away before I forget it. So then I got introduced to Fairway, and that was February of 21.
Okay.
And yeah.
So do you want to talk about coming back to Fairway? We were just talking about that a little bit in the pre-show. What brought you back? How has it been? What's the comparison?
Sure. No, those are great questions. So our branch that I was under, he didn't want to be branch manager.
The first stint for the
first
viewers,
stint, yeah.
So the first time you were here wasn't with my branch; it was a different branch.
Yeah, it was a different branch. Loved Fairway and didn't have any. I mean, Fairway was great. I remember I was probably in the business 6 months, maybe, and I wasn't. I was a nobody, and I had a closing 5:30. It was at a real estate office on a Friday afternoon, and they call me. It's like 5:45, and they're like, "Hey, the middle name's spelled wrong on all the documents," and it was a mobile closer. And they're like, and nobody was mad. They're just like, "What do we do?" And so I remember I emailed closing 911, and they told me what to do. Easy correction. But the thing that blew me away was Steve, CEO of Fairway. I'm a nobody LO. I mean, it's not like I'm producing huge amount of numbers. And he emailed me and said, "Hey, Brent, ask your buyers, do they like Lowe's or Home Depot? And we're going to give them $1,000 gift card." And just for the inconvenience. And it really wasn't, I mean, they had a just like initial and cross off. And like I said, nobody was mad, but that just blew me away. I said 6:00 on a Friday night, CEOs emailing me. And so, yeah, so I loved Fairway. I wasn't necessarily looking to leave, but when he didn't want to be branch manager anymore and just be a loan officer, he was going to a local lender in town, a brokerage, and I like the idea of going into an office and all of that. So
and they're a well-known local brand,
well-known.
So it seemed like probably a safe,
good,
and wise move.
Good people, like you could see a lot of their heart and philosophy, and the stuff they built was pretty in line with with Fairway. So I was there 15 months, and one thing that was really difficult for me was going from a direct lender space into
which is what Fairway is.
What Fairway is,
and then where you went.
Processes were so like every loan was almost completely different, right? Because every investor had their own.
You're
idea.
managing like multiple different systems.
And that's like, oh, you got to remember to call this person for this and this person for that, and if you need an answer, you got to find the who am I going to call in this deal, and then even just managing that for my referral partners and for my clients was challenging. I mean, I get why some people like it. They feel like there's options out there. If this lender says no, they got, 50 other lenders that they could talk to, or maybe somebody's got better pricing, or whatever the case is. So I think people that like flexibility, it's great, but to me, you can't really, I couldn't see a pathway forward that I was going to scale my business and really serve my clients well with that current circumstance. So, or the situation. So to me, it was like, and there was always only ever been, I mean, I'd get calls from other lenders and recruiters and stuff. So,
Especially during this season, anyone who had business going, like you're getting calls from recruiters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They must be desperate if they're calling me.
I'm just saying, like, especially now,
Yeah.
like since 2022 when the market changed, I feel like we always have like a base level of normal recruiting, but like I feel like it has been on another level
100%
since then because everyone's the industry volume shrunk, so everyone's trying to protect their shrinkage level of like by getting more. So it was much more intense recently than like even historically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you probably there's 2 or 3 a week at least. I'm getting a text from somebody.
Yeah,
going,
which you do produce well. I mean, for the people that like listen to this, know that like you're joking with that. Like you're.
Josh has got like an all-star team. He's got like all these people.
Bro,
I got a long ways to go. I am
part of the team.
I am part of the team. And I'm very, very blessed to be part of the team. But in my mind, there was no other place to go back to.
Something that you said, which I didn't want to interrupt your thought process, but something that kept coming to my mind because I had similar interactions, and this has been a common thread through people that we've had on the show from Fairway, from our office, is that from the top level, from the CEO seat down to department heads and anybody at corporate. Also, for context for viewers who may be unfamiliar with the mortgage industry, typically you have to be like maybe in the top 1 to 5% of volume production to get that kind of VIP treatment.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience industry wide.
Sure.
My whole career, except here. Something that kept coming in my mind as you were talking is nobody is a nobody at Fairway.
No, you sound like Morgan and Morgan.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can.
But like for real.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
Like when I came here, I started as a branch of one, like it was just me, and I had a thing on the weekend with a disclosure, and I got Steve Jacobson popping on. It was like 7-8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, who does that?
And I'm like a brand new branch with hardly like no volume yet, and like he's out there trying to help me, like I'm somebody,
Yeah.
And it was just like, so nobody's a nobody at Fairway. And the other thing that I don't know, people in the business got it right away, but anybody else who isn't in the mortgage business watching this, the whole like you have a client at the closing table and the name's misspelled seems like a simple fix, but in the industry we know there's probably like 87 buttons to click, 3 people who need to get involved. There's a lot of stuff. So like the anxiety of like how quick is this going to get resolved? People call you and they're like, Brent, what do we do?
Yeah.
And next question is, how long is it going to take? Because like we're trying to get to lunch and we got more closings to do.
Yeah.
So to get that help quickly, is amazing because
really
then it takes your anxiety down. Like everyone you're talking to is like, okay, cool. We know it's gonna be 20 minutes or whatever it is, and you can like breathe.
Yeah.
And like your reputation is safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like those are things that is different.
It's very different. Yeah. Matter of fact, I had a situation New Year's Eve actually, where
I remember that. Did we talk or text about that?
Yeah, we were cleared to close. We had the package there a week before, so we had the package there Christmas Eve, so a week before closing, and then they were going to sign on the 31st, and then the 30th at sometime in the afternoon, there was HOA approval thing that nobody knew about, and so they had to fill out the application, and the buyer's agent said, "Hey, they're not going to close tomorrow." So I remember calling Jocelyn and saying, "Hey," because I knew she was leaving. I was like, "Hey, by the way," and they had already sent the money, everything. So she was getting ready to get on her boat, and so she's like, "Here, let me get this out." So canceled everything. And then on the 31st, like 1:00 or something, I got a call from the realtor. Says, well, I guess they're signing. They're at the table signing. I was like, whoa, wait a second. So we've canceled the whole thing.
Yeah. So our branch closer was going on a vacation.
Yeah, and she was gone.
And so she had it worked up, and then we backed it down because you got told.
Correct. Yeah, it wasn't
it's
closed.
Not happening. And then they call you, and they're at the table, and they're like, we're closing, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do we do?
Yeah. No. So I called you, and then you sent an email out, and Steve got involved, and I think we had that thing fixed in 20 minutes.
Quick. And and it was like literal, like closing department head calls me up, and they're like, yeah, okay, we're going to fix it, whatever. And it was done.
It was done.
Amazing.
I think they weren't even done signing, and we had it taken care of. Yeah, that's definitely Fairway.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. And I think part of it too, like one of the fears that our people would say is, well, what if your underwriters turn down a file? Then what? I was like, I literally have, and going back to my first stint with Fairway, I don't think I've ever had a denial outside of maybe a property issue. And I've had a couple of those where couldn't get like the serial numbers on manufactured homes or something like that.
Yeah.
But I've always been able to work out, I get with the underwriter, we come up with a solution, and we're able to get it taken care of. So I always say, like, if Fairway's not going to be able to do it, then you're probably not going to get it done. I mean, I don't, because I just haven't experienced
Part of that is your experience. You know what to look for. You're putting it together correctly. And then the other half of that is the company being willing to find a way instead of a reason to not find a way, which is, again,
it's a mindset,
kind of like
right?
the norm a lot of the industry is like, especially on the underwriting side, is like, no. And instead, it's cool. We can ask, how can we?
Yes.
And they'll help us to find a way, which is
100%. Yeah, I did when I was over at the other lender, because we were working with a variety of investors, right? So, and I did feel like some of those places, like, I'm never sending them a deal because I feel like they're always looking for the no. Like, I'm gonna until I get all yeses, I'm not doing the deal. So it's like no until you, and so you always feel like you're fighting. It's like, it's hard enough getting deals.
It's a lot of energy spent.
It is, so. and you're already. It's tough enough to get deals in, right?
Yeah.
And you're not always getting the cleanest, easiest deals, right? And so, but then you're having to fight it should be your partner in getting this done, and you're having to fight that battle. So that there was very few places where I was like, all right, I can trust, like, this is. They're going to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
So, and I do feel that way with Fairway. I mean, if it's in guidelines, Fairway will bend over backwards to try to make it work. So,
which I've always been thankful for. I mean, I have peace in knowing, which sounds like you probably have this same experience. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is I have this peace of knowing whatever answer we come up with in underwriting, it's either people are going to love it and they're going to be happy that we found a way, or I know I'm not going to be embarrassed by telling them it doesn't work and then they go down the street and it works.
Yeah.
I know that if I have to explain a no, it's like completely logical and founded, and we tried every possible thing we could have tried and it just isn't going to work. That's a great feeling.
It is. It really is. Yeah. I have gotten files approved that Jessica's like, that's not happening.
You're like, we will find a way.
We're going to find a way. Yeah.
Shout out to Jessica McKinney. Amazing
Jessica
processor.
McKinney is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so tell me about, you briefly mentioned somewhere in there in the few minutes before about coaching.
Yeah.
You mentioned a guy, like the first time you got coached. What other experience have you had with coaching? Do you want to talk about Fairway Ignite coaching a little bit? Tell us about how coaching has affected your professional and personal work.
Yeah. So I really didn't have, the whole coaching philosophy was not a thing when I was first in the mortgage business. It was literally some guys says, here's 2 things of advice,
Yeah.
So, which actually turned out, I still use that to this day.
Great advice.
Great advice. Yeah. You really can't go wrong with that advice. But it wasn't until I got into Fairway And then they started, they said, hey, you want to join Ignite? So I did that, and that really did kickstart me back in the business. I think I did like 5 million my first year, and then the next year I think we went up to 12, and then I think it was like 16 or 17. But that's a lot of it I owe to Fairway. So I was in a group. It was like a drive group. There was like 5 of us. And JR was a group coach, and then I went into individual.
Which that's a small group for people newer in the business
Yes.
or trying to grow their volume.
Correct. Yeah, not so much personalized as, I mean, it is, but not.
It's more like tactical.
Yes.
Here's the to-dos, here's the accountabilities,
Exactly.
that type of thing.
Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah, then I got on one-on-one coaching, and then I've had various coaching. So when I went over the other place, I went in, and they had some great coaches over there too, that actually invested their time and all that. And then I did get into another coaching program, and they were great too. But when I came back to Fairway, so one is those coaching programs, super expensive.
Yeah.
Like people have no idea. I mean, it's north of 20 grand a year. So, I mean, that's like getting a college degree. Like,
Yeah, but it never ends.
It never ends. It just keeps going. So Fairway, what they've chosen to do and invest, if people choose to do, is, I mean, that price on that is nothing compared to that. I mean,
It's a huge discount.
Huge discount. And you're getting the best of the best. I mean, if you look at the coaches of Ignite and you look at their volume number, but it's not even just the amount of loans they do. It's people that care about you as a person, as a whole person, not just, hey, we want to get your volume up.
Which is, again, unique.
Yes, very unique.
In that space.
Yeah, they want, hey, how's your family? Like, how are you doing? So, so I have Carrie. She's my current Ignite coach, and we're working on stuff that I never even thought about. And it's kind of funny to me because I signed up for the Why Driven Comeback with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an additional class.
This is additional
that's
class
on top of your regular coaching. That's like for a period of time about a specific topic.
Correct. Yeah, it's 4 weeks long. Very, very intense. But yeah, so
that doesn't surprise me. Bill is an intense guy.
He is an intense guy. So we had our first class Monday, and what Carrie's been working with me on is just my mindset, which is kind of weird to me because I've always felt like I'm a pretty positive person. I really, truly, like, for the most part, like, I tend to see glass half full, and how do we, like, even like looking at loans, like, how do I make this a yes, right? Like,
yeah.
So I've always kind of felt like I've had a pretty positive mindset, not been one that's been say like woe is me or just, I don't think a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been very, very fortunate. But then Carrie and I have been working on my mindset, and I was like, man, all right. Like, because I think one of your questions is like, hey, what's a breakthrough? And I'm like, well, I don't know that I've had a breakthrough, but it comes down to my mindset. So it's been very, in some ways I feel like I'm starting mortgage business up again. And so it's been very good.
What would you say shifted in your mindset, or how did you shift it?
Well,
and how did you shift it?
I don't know that I'm in the middle of shifting it.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of shifting it. So I've never been a transaction guy, right? Like, I don't ever look at a deal and say, hey, how much money can I make on this deal? It's so I always think in terms of relationships. Like that's how I view it. But I was thinking in terms of, like, oh, hey, I got this deal done. Oh, now I need to go and get another deal. And then I need to go get another deal. And I need to get another deal. So then you're always like chasing this next deal versus really having a plan and a strategy and a playbook that you can use and implementing that as a business versus trying to, okay, where can I find my next deal? Is if you have strategies in place and you just implement that becomes that's how you get more deals, just by simply implementing a strategy. So it's more like, how do you build a sustained business versus, I need to go out and meet 50 realtors. Yeah, you may need to go out and meet 50 realtors, no doubt. It doesn't take away like I still need to make my phone calls. I still needed to get my one-on-ones and my breaking breads and all of those.
Or you're zooming out. You're zooming out and
But I'm doing it
focusing
more
on
like
the
within a
plan.
strategy.
Okay.
Like today I met a new realtor last Friday down in Fort Myers. I actually sent you an email on that. But she just got, her company just hired her for like a manager, or promoted her to a manager. This was a lady she was a listing agent on a deal I did like 3 or 4 years ago. And she literally,
No kidding.
I got her on my Finishing Friday text thread.
Okay.
So finally I was like, she texted me back and I was like, hey, I'm going to be down in Fort Myers. Do you want to meet? And she's like, yeah, I just took on this new role. I met with
Speaking
her.
of systems, for people listening, the Finishing Friday is something you do every Friday with like an encouraging message.
Yes, I've been doing that for 3 or 4
So
years.
that's a way you stay in touch with your whole network.
Pretty much, yeah, because I
in
get a
giving
personalized
way.
text.
You're like saying, hey, here's my like thought nugget for the week, and shooting that out to people. So that's a cool thing that you do.
It is, yeah. And it's funny, like I had a realtor once says, you keep sending me every week. I've never sent you business here. Here's the lead. But so I met with her. One of the things that struck with me was, so I try not to, I don't ever want to, we are in sales. I mean, that's the bottom line is we're in sales. I don't ever consider myself a salesperson.
Yeah.
But that's literally what we are, right? So, but I think the mindset is like, hey, how do I serve those well? And so I just started asking her questions like, hey, what is she doing? They got 7 offices there. And so she said, one of the things I want to do is I really just want my agents to be the best they can be. So I said, hey, I have some playbooks I could share, because that's one of the things I was working on with Carrie is how do I bring value to people. So we started working around a strategy around first-time home buyers. How is going after first-time home buyers a strategy? And then she was like, what about first-time agents? What if you were willing to work? I said, I love working with first-time agents. That's a long game, right? Because some make it, some don't, and it's very, so it's not like you're going to be. But I don't mind investing at all with first-time agents, because if I can help them grow, that's probably a partner that I'm going to have for life, right?
Yeah. You're investing. I'm seeing that as a thread in your life. You're like investing in people.
Yeah, I've had a ton of people invest in me, and so I just want to keep investing in others. Yeah, so then I said, before I left that meeting, I said, I have some playbooks I'd love to share with you. See if you think that you'd find value for your agents. I love the fact that you want your agents to be the best. I would love to help in that. So I said, how about we set up a Zoom call? So we're great. We set up a Zoom call for this morning at 9:00, and she says, hey, I got my other manager. He's going to be on there with me. So I was on there with both of them. Now I got a face-to-face meeting with them in their office on the 10th of March. But I shared with them like 4 or 5 playbooks that we had developed, and it's nothing about rates, nothing about mortgages per se,
Which is how a lot of us try to sell.
Yeah.
Right. So, but you're coming at it from a different, maybe more authentic approach to serve people, give value. So came out of a Finishing Friday response.
This I had this realtor on my Finishing Fridays for like 3 years, and I had never met her. And then she responded on a text like a month ago.
So something I'm hearing from you as a theme is you're serving, you're giving, you don't want to like stereotypically sell, like you're not trying to get, because I think when people think selling, they think you're trying to get something, versus what you're saying is I'm trying to see what can I give.
Right.
Another one of our branch teammates I was meeting with yesterday, and he had this really cool, I'm like, bro, I'm going to steal that. He's like, I want to bless 80 families this year.
Oh,
and I was like, that's a really cool way to, and he was like, genuinely, like that's where his heart was at. He's like, I just want to think about, I want to bless again with the service and giving. So I noticed that in the theme of some of the stuff you've been saying, which is cool.
Yeah. And I think, so it's kind of always been in the back of what I do. But it's never been really brought through as a strategy, like a way of actually being able to build a business that serves others well. So we'll see. I'm excited about it because that feeds into kind of what I was doing with Max Life, and so now we're
You're doing
a
playbooks, you're serving, you're coaching, you're developing.
Absolutely,
I love that.
So I do too. I'm excited about it. So
you kind of answered my last question because I know we're reaching like the 45-minute mark here, and you got like people to serve and stuff. So, what I was going to ask you kind of answered already is like, if somebody was struggling or new in the business, what would you do? You're out there serving, coming up with a game plan. Is there any other kind of final wrap up that you want to do to that to encourage someone who maybe they're at 5 million and they want to get to, the 18 million or 17 million, and any words of encouragement or wisdom for that person?
Yeah. Embrace the suck. The last 3 years,
AKA it will take some time and it will feel hard and you might want to quit some days, but 100%. You should just keep going.
There is about one time a week I'm like, could deliver pizza. You know what? That sounds good. I just could deliver pizza. Then I think, crap, I wouldn't be able to pay my mortgage with that. So my wife would probably not appreciate that.
You're like, I'm going to stay in the game. I'm going to do the next play in the playbook.
Honestly, it's how you get paid, and you think, all right, what else am I going to do? You know. So, but because it is hard. I mean, it is hard. People don't realize. I think being in real estate, being in mortgages, it's hard. But Steve Jacobson's quote about loans are what we do, not who we are, right?
Yeah.
So I would tell, like, that's one of the things I try to remember. And I'm not necessarily, I'm relearning it, or maybe I'm implementing it a little bit different, but it's easy to go and get in front of realtors and say, oh, I'm this, I'm great at communicating, or we have this product, or we can do that and all that. Yeah. Those tools are great. Like, get all the tools you can get. That's fantastic. And I think Fairway has the best tools there is. I mean,
I agree.
So, then it comes down to, so I would just tell somebody, hey, listen, and go and ask someone, like when you meet a realtor for how can I help you? Is there something I can do? Which is what I did with this realtor. I said, how can I help you? How can I help you help your agents be the best? And, I sent them everything. I don't know them. I sent them my playbook, or the ones that we talked about. So I sent it to them. They gave me some other great ideas. So I'm going to be able to create a few more playbooks.
Very cool.
And, they may never call me. They may take that playbook and send it to wherever, but that's fine. I was able to serve them.
Yeah.
And I really believe if I view things that way, I'm playing the long game with that, and what people do with it, that's not on me, right?
Yeah.
If they want to take it and steal it or whatever, I don't care. It's not mine. Nothing's new under the sun. Anyways, right? I don't think I've created anything new that's not out there. Put a little Brent flavor on it. It's funny because ChatGPT will say that. Do you mean to put some Brent flair on here?
That's funny.
So, that is that's a whole nother conversation.
Sounds like we got a couple more episodes you got to come back for.
Absolutely. Who said bless the family? That was really cool. I like that.
It was Michael.
Was
Shout
it Michael?
out to Michael Galante.
Oh yeah. Sheesh. That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because I actually didn't think about it that way, but that's
we have cool people. I feel blessed.
You do have, except for Jessica McKinney.
Please don't quit Jessica McKinney. He's kidding. He's kidding.
She might fire me.
You guys have a fun banter going.
We definitely have a fun banter. That makes it fun.
Yeah.
Because this stuff gets stressful, and
one of Fairway's core values is have fun.
So
we try to do that between like the serious stuff. It's nice to break it up with a little dad joke here and there.
Yes, I think sometimes people don't think I'm serious because I do like to joke, but
yeah,
I mean, life is too hard. Like, how do you not joke? I mean, if I was like serious all the time, I'd be depressed.
Yeah, I'm with you on
have
that.
Some fun.
Yeah,
so I don't mind the jokes. And Jessica, man,
she
can give it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say she can joke right back with the best of them.
100%, man. She's no backing down.
Yeah.
So I have a thought. and I'm being serious. So, because I feel like it's not just serving realtors and serving clients, it's also serving our teammates, right?
Yeah.
So I know like sometimes if I don't look at something or I brush through it too quick, then I'm putting Jessica in a bad spot or I'm putting Jocelyn in a bad spot. So one of the things I was like, all right, I need to call Jocelyn and Jessica, and I'm going to do it, is say, hey, what are like 3 things that you're seeing that I need to look at so that when it gets to you, it's in a much better spot. So I'm making hopefully their workload easier. And in the end, we'll save the branch too, right? Because mistakes are costly. But I'm going to have to limit Jessica to 3 because she'll probably want to tell me 20. So I'm just going to say, Jessica, you got to leave it to 3 first.
It's very cool of you to do that because I think it speaks a lot to the culture of the team, where you're coming from. That's a humble and kind place to be coming from. And I know that I appreciate that. I know Jessica and Jocelyn will appreciate that. And I am very thankful that that is our vibe that we have, because when you can treat each other that way and joke back and forth, but also come back and seriously be like, hey, really, what can I do better? How can I? It's like that ultimate coachy kind of like mentality of I'm humble enough to know that I don't maybe know everything, or I'm not perfect yet and I'm a work in progress. And I think that makes it all that much easier for everyone when you know that your teammates are also coming from that place, you know, because I think so often there can be that tension between ops and sales where, you know, there's not that love and true desire to work together. And that's something that I definitely don't take for granted about not only Fairway Corporate, but also our branch. It's a unique thing in the industry, and it's something that I'll always be thankful for.
I mainly just don't want Jessica to fire me.
Well, that too. That would be.
No, honestly, I have.
Plus.
You think you got stuff together, and then there's so much to learn. I mean, I think that's one of the driving forces of this business. It can make you crazy or make you good, which is, man, you're always learning.
Or both.
Yeah, or both. Yeah, could definitely be. Yes, I had hair when I started mortgages, and now
that was like a week ago.
Yes, that was a week ago.
It's been a tough week.
It's been a tough week.
Yeah, we got dad jokes all day. Any other final thoughts? I know you have an
No, I just I really appreciate you, appreciate your leadership. You have there's different styles of leaders, right?
Yeah.
You have the rah-rahs, the loud and the big personalities. I appreciate I haven't seen you get flustered or go crazy yet. So I don't know if and when hopefully that never happens because of me. But you're very calming force in a place that is high stressed and high emotions. And you're just always very, very even keel, and I really appreciate that, and just appreciate your support. I mean,
Thanks,
I don't think I've ever called you once, and you're like, no, we're not doing that. So I appreciate that, and I'm thankful to be part of your branch, and thankful to be part of Fairway. So,
well, I'm thankful that you're here.
So thank you. I'm hoping to keep getting better. One day at a time.
I predict that will happen.
I don't know. Some days it's 10 steps backwards
and 12 forwards.
Hopefully, one day you'll get to 12. Yeah. So my Emily's back in December. She says, "Hey, I put in for the blessings and needs package for 2026." Then we get through January, and I said, that order did not come in through January anyways. I don't know if it's delayed. Never. Who knows?
Shipping delayed.
Yes, it'd be like the Amazon, then it just won't show up. You ever get that?
Yes.
Where they're like, it's delayed, and then finally go, we just canceled.
Yeah,
the
we
order.
actually can't find it.
And you're like, what?
That has happened.
Yeah, it's happened to me too. So, but anyways, thanks for having me. Appreciate the
Thanks for
opportunity.
coming.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. It's been a great time. Look forward to having you back. Sounds like we have more things to talk about.
I would love to come back.
And thank you to the viewers and listeners for joining on another episode of the Made to Be Great podcast. And we hope to see you back soon.
You were made to be great. Don't settle for less. You were made to be great.